Hello and welcome to Witchfire, a really quite good early access game. We're going to hop in. We're going to hop in on my current save because I've got a few bits unlocked, which I think shows the game off a bit better. So this is sort of gothic fantasy first-person shooter. Souls element over here. If you've played a Souls game, you know exactly what all of this is. And yes, you do drop your XP when you die. And you progressively level up. Again, Souls style trappings, making equipment. This is actually quite interesting. Equipment takes time. So I put the gold in, and then there is a timer. This timer is dictated by things I do in levels. So it's about me playing. Also, interestingly, this is an extraction shooter which is purely single player, which I don't think I've ever seen before. So yeah, I have my home base here where I can do lots of upgrading. The game's got a lot of systems, and I would imagine the full release is going to have it even more. There are areas I can't get into. Not what the game's about. The game's sort of about its core gameplay loop, which is what I'm going to show off. But yeah, if you're into complex systems and character building, this has it for you. And as it moves forward, it's going to get more and more and more. So we're going to hop in, which we do by going on an expedition. Now, this is an extraction style mission. I only have the first area unlocked because my brain is failing miserably to work the puzzles out to get through the tower in the middle. But we're going to stick to the edge of the island, essentially. It spawned me on the beach instead of in front of the tower, which is always nice. Now, off I run, and I'm going to get attacked by all sorts of wibbly monsters as I'm running around. And I'll show you some of the mechanics at play. So, your basic Wraith. And you'll notice my gun here has a heat mechanic. That's because I got a certain number of kills or a certain number of type of kills. And that heat mechanic means I can make my gun do more damage by keeping the heat in the middle, basically. Keep it in the heat get section, and then my damage goes up. And you'll notice as I'm running around, I am collecting XP. In this game known as Witchfire, and think souls. The more I have, the more I can level up. If I die, I lose it. I can get it back on the next run. I'm going to be brutally honest, because of the random nature of the game. I've not had a lot of luck with that. So, manifestations. These are roguelike style buffs. So, more max health. I could unlock that one if I so desired, or an extra elixir slot. Elixirs are healing. I'm just going to go for more max health because why not? And off we go. So, I'm currently carrying 3 guns. I started the game with, I think I started the game with 1, possibly 2. But I researched this big rifle, and I started with the little SMG thing you saw. So as I'm running around, objectives are going to spawn, like this one where I'm supposed to defend the obelisk. They're vague as to what exactly you're supposed to be doing. Deliberately so. This is a game of sort of slowly figuring it out. I think when it gets a full release, this will probably be a game where the wiki and the community are really quite important. I've already used kind of wiki and community stuff for this. Nope. And there you go. I've cleared this area, so I get another manifestation. And this is yet another buff. So there we go. Brief vulnerability. When I switch weapons, that sounds like it could be handy. Invulnerability on tap is always nice. And I'm going to slowly work my way through. Now, one compliment I will give this game, this runs brilliantly. So I game on a laptop. It's a mid-spec laptop, I suppose. It'll run most games fairly well, but it does occasionally sound like it's going to take off and fly around the room. This doesn't. I haven't got the graphics up particularly high because I like my fans quiet, just personal preference. But this runs beautifully, even on a laptop, without it sounding like it's going to explode, which I feel more games need credit with optimization, especially when they're in early access. I played quite a lot of early access stuff, and most of them run horribly. So I failed that. They destroyed the obelisk, so I don't get anything out of it. But I do get crystallized Witchfire, which is just XP you can carry. Your lesser souls and things that you could pick up in Dark Souls, they're the same premise. Ooh, supply chest key. Those are handy. While I'm running around, if I find chests, I can get loot, specifically gold, which is always lovely. So yeah, I have a lot of compliments for the game. I think this is an Unreal 5, if I remember correctly. And there's a lot of content here, even in its early access form. I was out of range, that's why you were taking no damage. And it's more expensive when it comes to early access games. I think it's about 35 normally. But this feels like it could be a sort of, when it's finished, this will feel like it could be a full price game. I hope they won't put the price up that much, because nice to see more games in the budget territory. But yeah, it is worth your money, even more so if you can pick it up on a sale. So there's a portal, so I could hang around here until that opens and escape. I'm not going to quite yet, because I'm going to show off a bit more of sort of mechanics and stuff I've got. So weapons-wise, I have 3. So you've seen me use this. This is the basic machine gun. I started the game with it. It's really good. I get on really well with it. Highly recommend any class that comes with it. Then I've got this big bolt-action rifle, just handy for dealing with longer range targets. There's some stuff I'd rather not fight up close. And then demon weapons. I have very little ammo for this, but this thing ruins a group of enemies. So while I'm waiting around, let's look at where to go. When I hit here, I bring my map up. Now this shows me where there are enemies. Now any that are red means I've cleared them out. So dangerous area, those you'll clear pretty easily. Highly dangerous area, you probably want an upgrade or 2. Extremely dangerous area, you're going to die. That is, funnily enough, what I need to do to progress, to get into here, to then solve puzzles and things that make my brain hurt. And there are various secrets. There's a load of ships and stuff off here that, if I explore too much, I tend to get absolutely ruined by. So there's obviously extra things that want to kill me down that way. And like I say, you find these portals that you can progressively open. And one of the key things you should do in this game, which I didn't when I started, is open the map as soon as you start, because you want to work out where you're going. Now, I'm going to wander over to here, because there's sometimes interesting stuff in the church. No, that obviously carries between runs. That's an item I need to solve the puzzle in the middle. I was curious to see if it's saved between runs or not. It clearly does. And you sort of explore around the edge of the island, and when you're ready, you go and try and break into there. Now, the longer I'm here, the more dangerous everything's going to get. So, more dangerous enemies can spawn. Those red, sort of wraithy creatures are going to turn up and ruin. I thought I had a double jump in this. So, traversal's quite pleasant, quite easy by first-person standards. Obviously, it's FPS, so don't expect mind-blowing platforming. We all know platforming in FPS games is subpar at best. But let's show you my demon crossbow, because it's just kind of cool. And as you can see, that has absolutely destroyed 3 enemies for 1 shot. Not a lot of ammo, but they're absolutely brilliant. So I had to research that. It was quite expensive and took me a little while. There are classes that start with 1, so a high risk, because you're going to be really weak until you've got something a bit more dependable. Let's go for, we'll go for casting spells, because I haven't shown that off yet. So spellcasting. The last mechanic, so you sort of run around with 5 attacks of varying shapes and sizes. So my machine gun that you've seen, my rifle, my crossbow, and then when we get down here, there's some bad guys. We have spells. So I've got Freeze Blast, that's my dodge. And then if I hold, I have this bell that stuns everything. Now, I've not done a lot of experimentation with spells. That's kind of the last thing I got. Have dodge and stamina mechanics. Again, it's doing the Souls-like thing. It's doing it quite admirably, especially as a first-person shooter. I'm probably going to extract soon, so that doesn't matter too much. And that would pretty much cover a run. So now I'm going to wander off this way, and I will probably go back in the same portal as I came from. So I can't use that one, so I'm going to have to go up here again, which means I've got to run through this lot. As you can say, the game has lots of effects going on. That's my first portal closed. And as I run around, I would imagine I'm going to get attacked by various wraiths and things that have respawned. And you go, you make a run, you gather your resources, and then we'll go back and have a quick look at some upgrades. Annoyingly, I haven't found a chest, even though I found a key, which is slightly frustrating, but these things happen. Don't really want to mess with the middle. Every time I mess with the middle, I wind up getting into a little bit of trouble. So we keep running, we keep running. Pause and the map are the wrong way round as far as I'm concerned with the control. I probably could rebind, but that requires me fiddling about in a menu, and I really can't be asked. So yeah, down here. There we go. And enemies quite often appear guarding portals. So if you run to them in a panic, you expect to have to fight. Because they will also spawn while I'm trying to open it. That's quite common. Might be alright because I killed a couple on the way in, but we shall see. But they do everything in your power to stop you leaving with stuff, which is quite satisfying from a gameplay perspective because it feels like I've escaped by the brink of my teeth. Nothing's going to spawn in this time. And then I step into the portal. I got plus 4,000 Witchfire, various crystals which I can use. I've not got any research going on at the moment, mainly because I have no money. Kills, events, there was one. I didn't do very well at it, and there were 7 chests there that I didn't find. And you go back. And there's a degree of randomization to the map. It's not always exactly the same. And in I pop. Lighting goes. Textures are a bit slow to load in. Again, early access. There has been... I've had no crashes or anything horrible. The frame rate's been pretty consistent. And now I go and spend my resources on weapons over here. I can come over here and see if I've done any of my gun challenges. None yet. I can go over here, and this is where I can equip various stuff. Relic and Ring I've not unlocked yet. You have to level up more. And the final bit that's probably worth talking about is how this game handles difficulty. Now, it's not easy. It's not an impossible game, but it's not easy. I'm reasonably well leveled up for the areas we were going through. It's over here. So, Study Genosis. I've obviously got to achieve all of these. So, go to the Scarlet Coast means I've got to unlock the second area, which I haven't yet. And I need to carry a fairly large volume of Witchfire. That's not too difficult. I just make several simple runs back to back to get that. This levels this kind of world tendency up, kind of Demon Souls-y, and makes everything more difficult, more enemies, more everything. So you're in control of how the pace the game moves, which is an interesting way of doing it. It will be intriguing as I get further in to see what that does. So my thoughts on it as an early access game. If you like what you see, it's absolutely worth the money to hop in early. I'm probably going to put this down now for a few months and come back to it when there's some more updates and bits. mainly because I'm just finding the puzzles slightly frustrating, because puzzles are not my thing. And yeah, but overall, it's a really solid game, and one that has had a little bit of buzz, but not enough. It did start as an Epic Store exclusive, but it is now on Steam, so if you're averse to using Epic for some reason, you can pick it up on Steam. This is the Steam version. There doesn't seem to be any major issues with it. And yeah, I really quite enjoy this. Get a lot of good vibes off it. Just generally a fun game to run around in, and everything feels really crisp. I'll see you all next time.